happy birthday, President Biden. He turned 80 yesterday, and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden tweeted this: a perfect birthday celebration filled with so much love and Joe's favorite, coconut cake. Will the oldest president ever elected run for a second term? I say he will. Even some Democrats, though, have concerns about his age, and his penchant for gaffes does not help. But the New York Times is coming to his defense. Of course they are. In a headline that reads this: President Biden is turning 80. Experts say age is more than a number. The Times writes they'd hardly be so kind to a Republican president. Mr. Biden, these experts agreed, has a lot going in his favor. He is highly educated, has plenty of social interaction, a stimulating job that requires a lot of thinking, is married, and has a strong family network. All factors that studies show are protective against dementia and conducive to healthy aging. Wow, talk about engaging in advocacy, New York Times. I mean, Michelle, there are many high-functioning 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, Nancy Pelosi has her job together, or did before she retired. You know, she's an example of one. But Joe Biden's not one of them. All you have to do is watch. And it makes me think, you know, in 2024, he can't hide in the basement, or maybe he can. You know, they hid Fetterman away. They will try to hide him away, lean into official duties, but he'll have to debate 3 times. He'll have to be out there to some degree.
And the commercials are already being made, right? Because he's had so many gaffes and so many issues where you watch him speak and you go, what did he say? What's he saying? How's he, you know? So I think that the Times doth protest too much. When you have to outline all these things he has going for him, like his family and his intellect and his stimulating job, then clearly maybe there's something lacking somewhere else. Look, unless you're a science denier, you know that with age comes cognitive decline. It just is a fact of life. So he's facing it, and the Democrats, I think, are going to have to come up with an alternative.
Sean, and meanwhile, the Democrats, Biden's coming up with a plan. According to Axios, like President Obama and Clinton before him, Biden's going to use divided government to run against Congress in the second half of his first term, and that could put him in a better position to win re-election. In the coming weeks, he's going to ramp up his outreach to big-dollar donors, time to White House holiday parties to underwrite his campaign. This guy's running. I mean, that's clear.
So I've said this for a long time. Joe Biden is running. When you spend a lifetime trying to make it to the presidency, you do not give that up.
Amen.
Now, Congress is not going to push him out. Governors aren't going to push him out, but the media can push him out. And the New York Times, the biggest one, comes out and says, we love Joe. There's no cognitive decline. I think that's a sign that they're going to stick with him. And again, I think this goes back to the results of the election just a month ago. They think he did well. Let's get that same performance 2 years from now. But again, when you don't perform well on the stage and you have a failing economy, I think this is not 2020 again. 2024 is going to be much different for Joe Biden. Again, debates, you can't sit in the basement. I think America wants answers, and Joe's
got a
going to
record
provide them.
now.
But I think his midterm performance, and I shouldn't say it's his, because I don't think it was tied to him. It wasn't a referendum on Biden. Stymies off some of the primary challenges. We saw Pritzker, Newsom, Murphy, Democrat governors who were reportedly raising funds, according to Reuters. And I want to play the soundbite from Newsom just before midterms. It almost looks like he's posturing for a run because he's banking on Joe Biden losing miserably. But Joe Biden didn't lose. So watch Newsom, Emily.
Does it feel like a red wave?
Yeah, of course it does. And it goes to my fundamental grievance with my damn party. We're getting crushed on narrative. We're going to have to do better in terms of getting on the offense and stop being on the damn defense.
That seems like posturing. He wasn't banking on them keeping the Senate, doing better than historical norms in the House.
That's right. I think that he was just as surprised as many Americans across the board. He also should place the responsibility squarely on his own shoulders for expecting that red wave, given the abysmal failure that he has been as governor of California. I have to say that the proactive gaslighting on the part of the New York Times is so preposterous.
Yeah.
They could have just stayed quiet.
Comical.
They could have just stayed quiet, but instead they proactively released this segmented article about why we should take at face value their words as to why his cognition is sound. And that's true and unrelated from the age argument. I think that's what the Democrats keep falling back to. The most ridiculous argument I read as well was the chair of the New Hampshire Rockingham County Democrats, who said, well, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl at age 43.
Oh, dear
I think we have to reassess aging.
Okay.
There is nothing analogous whatsoever
Nothing.
to Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl as to President Biden. And the notion that he said that out loud and that then it made it to print as an argument for us to accept Joe Biden's cognition is sound, to me, is just the cherry on top. Because to your point, when we talk about the conversation around age, of course, we have a million examples of this person is thriving at age 80, the Eagles announcer, Nancy Pelosi, everyone's sure. And then this person at age 60 is absolutely deficient, right? There's a million examples of both. Exactly.
We're not all the same.
Tom Brady is the GOAT. So Biden is not a GOAT. That is the moniker.
He's a different kind of GOAT.
Jackie, and these cheat sheets say it all. I've heard a lot of commentators say, you know, every president gets cheat sheets. Yes, well, I wrote some of the cheat sheets for President Trump, and they were factual. They were talking points, graphs, statistics. They were not like this. This is the cheat sheet from Joe Biden at the G20. You will sit at the center. Right. You will deliver opening remarks, and the U is capitalized. And then at a Wind executive meeting in June, check out his other cheat sheet. You take your seat. You give brief comments. You ask Liz Scholler. This was not like a play-by-play written for a 5-year-old when we were writing cheat sheets.
Yeah, we're laughing, but this actually is not funny and tells you the extent of what the staffers feel like they're dealing with here. Look, there is a minimum age to run for president. The country wants a leader who has lived and has a certain amount of life experience and also a certain amount of maturity. Maybe there should be an upper limit too, because 80 isn't created equal for everyone. Some people are sharp as a tack and some people are like Joe Biden. So in 2 more years, you only can imagine that this cognitive decline is going to get worse. And also, I think, with Nancy Pelosi resigning and you see Ron DeSantis did so well in Florida, there is an appetite in this country for new blood, young blood. And I think that the Democrats, as well as the Republicans, need to realize that, and they need to, invigorate the next election.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi talked about the next generation of leadership. Maybe she should talk to her friend Joe about that.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.